First of all, the law came. You shall not eat of the tree in the midst of the garden. On the day that you eat thereof, you will die. And they broke the law. And then the sacrifice came. God killed an animal and skinned it and put it on them. And they began to realize this is what the sacrifice is. And then the prophecy came about the seed of the woman that would come and crush the serpent's head. He will bruise his heel, but he will crush his head. See, God knew where Adam was. He asked Adam, where are you? It's not that he didn't know where he was, but he wanted Adam to know where he was. He wanted him to see where he was and that he had lost it and he failed, you see. And so, by the course of witnessing to people all the time and doing it a whole lot, 3 or 4 times a week probably, and I was a whole lot younger then and had more time to deal with, but I began to discern different types of people. You know, you got to develop, it's not the method that you develop, you have to be sensitive to what they need. You're out to reach them, okay? If they need to be loved and told that Jesus loves you, you know, you have to be aware, you have to be sensitive and discern what their need is. That's why God gives us 2 ears and 1 mouth, is to listen twice as much as you talk. And when you're out witnessing to people, you strike up the conversation and you listen for a while. And after listening for a while, when you swing from the natural to the supernatural, and then you make it apparent, now we're on a biblical conversation. Things have gone another route. And now you're talking to this person about eternity and biblical things, and then you listen to them some more and you find out where they're at. And you have 3 kind of saved people and 3 kind of lost people. We went over it the last time. The 3 kind of saved people are found in the parable of the sower. Matthew chapter 13, Mark chapter 4, and Luke chapter 8. The 3 types of saved people are the ones the seed fell on rocky ground. It didn't have much earth. It was in the rocks, and it sprung up with gladness. But when the sun came up, persecution, affliction, and tribulation, it scorched it and it died. Then you have the ones that fell on thorny ground, on weedy ground. And it came up, and the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches and the wants of other things come up and choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. You know, you can't become unfruitful unless you had a fruitful time prior to that. So these are Christian people, and they allowed their life of Christ to die. They allowed it to wither and die and become unfruitful and die. And then you have the ones that fell on fertile ground, that sprung up and produced a crop 30, 60, and 100-fold. Okay? And the only one in that parable that never was saved is the one that the seed fell on wayside ground, and the birds of the air came and devoured it. Jesus said that Satan comes immediately to steal the word away that was sown into the heart. So that person was never saved. And then you have 3 kind of lost people. Number 1 is the humble and the meek. The humble. Occasionally, very, very rarely, out witnessing, I talk to somebody and I ask them, you know, if you were to die tonight, where would you be in eternity? And they put their head down and they say, you know, I'd be in hell. I deserve hell because all the things I've done. You know, they just need grace. They need to know the message of the cross. They need grace because they're humble. The Word says God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. Okay? Which brings us to the next type of lost person, the self-righteous and proud. You ask them where they're going to be when they die, and they're going to tell you, oh man, I'm going to heaven. Why is that? Because I'm a good person. Man, I don't smoke, drink, or chew, or run around with those that do. And man, you know, if that preacher down the road that did what he did is going to heaven, I'm surely going to go. I've never done anything like that. I've been married to my wife for 40 years. I've never kissed another girl. And this, that, and the other. And they're self-righteous and proud. They need to see that they are a sinner, that they have broken God's law, and the law will chase them, and they deserve hell as much as anybody else. Okay? Two types of lost. And the third type of lost person is the dog or the swine. Jesus said, don't cast your pearls among swine. Don't give that which is holy to the dogs, or cast your pearls among swine, or they'll turn on it and trample it under their feet and rend you. They just step over anything you say and they attack you. We've run into a few swine in our time of witnessing, especially over at the Fat Cat Saloon. Joe and I and Chet and I, going over there. They had some guys, they would come out and we wouldn't even be talking to them, and they would just hear me say Jesus, and they would yell at us and go call the police and stuff like that, These are swine. Jesus said, just don't witness to them. This is the only place you're permitted to not witness to somebody. The whole entire church, everybody were soul winners, like we looked in Acts chapter 8 last week. They, the unnamed group of people that were dispersed after the persecution of Stephen, they went around winning souls and witnessing and preaching the gospel everywhere they went to everybody. Okay? So the only difference between them in the book of Acts and us now is that there's 2% of the church now that actively share their faith. Okay? And so, in short, that's what it's all about. Just, I learned this stuff, and I was able to see the different type of people that I'm witnessing to by going out and doing it. And, well, when I first learned the principle of law to the proud and grace to the humble, and I'm winning souls left and right, I told my pastor, hey, look, last week, 5 people got saved.